So, bit about Froakie. He hatched as an egg. As you'll know if you've watched the Z and XY series like I have, it's my favourite series by the way of Pokemon so far. Well, Froakie's the main sort of Pokemon for Ash because from the start he had this sort of hidden potential within him. This kind of power that he possessed rivaled Mega Evolution, and when he first hatched, he was different from all the other Froakie. He was constantly making the effort to train and better himself. This caused rivalry of all the other Froakie that he was with. They just wanted to play and have fun, but he didn't. He wanted to be stronger. A few other Froakie beat him up. Nurse Joy, who said, in order for you to become stronger, you need to do it with a trainer. But that wasn't the same with Charizard Valley, was it? Like, the Charizards didn't rely on other trainers to grow their strength or whatever, if you watched that episode as well. But anyway, that's irrelevant. I'm digressing now. He became very selective of his trainers. Must have been 10 or 20 because they weren't good enough or whatever, they didn't care enough for him. Basically what he was searching for was love. He thought if a trainer didn't love him enough, then that trainer's not worth his time and that trainer won't be able to unlock his true potential. Found Ash by fate in Lumio City. That's where it started at all. Garchomp had a collar around from Team Rocket. I fucking hate. Yeah, I'm sick of them appearing in every single episode. They kind of ruin it for me. It's just so predictable, so boring. Thankfully the new ones, well, they still have Team Rocket in, but there's episodes where they don't include them at all, which I think they should do for every episode, to be honest. Garchomp from Professor Sycamore's lab tried to defend Froakie because originally Team Rocket were going to capture Froakie. Garchomp intervened, and then he went on a rampage, and then Ash went up the building, try and help Garchomp. Ended up getting the collar off, and then Pikachu fell from the building, and then he jumped down the building to save his partner, not worrying about if he was going to die. He just wanted his Pikachu to be safe, and then thankfully a Mega Blaziken came, using flare bits to save him. And Froakie saw all this and he thought, Ash, he's the trainer I need to unlock my true potential to help me evolve into Gikoga. Just when Ash was going to leave, Froakie threw a Frubble. Frubbles is the type of bubbles that he makes because Froakie's based on the frog, and frogs produce foam. Frubbles he threw at, one of the Frubbles of his, he threw at Ash. He threw his Pokeball at Ash. He willingly put himself in that Pokeball because he wanted Ash to be his partner, and Ash accepted. That was the second episode of Pokemon X and Y. From then on, Ash trained Froakie. Froakie was quite strong, even as a level 5 or whatever. I don't know if they still have levels in Pokemon. I don't think in the anime they do as much. They did mention it back in the old series that you got to be level 12, level 13, level 16 they evolved. The original sort of Pokemon series, they treated it more like the game in a way, although there was some stuff that were a bit ridiculous, and there still are, to be honest, in the anime, but you know, it's kind of evolved a lot since then. You know how Pokemon evolved, anime has as well. He battled a Fletchling. He had a difficult time getting Fletchling. Fletchling was quite fast, it was quite high up, but Froakie took advantage of his agility and jumped from rock to rock, taking advantage of high field terrain. Ash told him to jump from rock to rock because he's worked with so many fast Pokemon. He's had a Sceptile, Infernape who was really fast as well, and a load of others. So, you know, he's used to favours a lot of speedy Pokemon. He doesn't really have any bulky Pokemon. And the only ones I can think of are Torterra, maybe Gliscor and Gudra, and that's about it really. So he weakened Fletchling by hitting it with 2 water pulses and won the match, and then Ash catched Fletch, and from then on he got a second partner. Later on, trained with it a bit more, battled a Sylveon and lost to a Draining Kiss, and it got embarrassed of how he lost. Ash's Froakie has a lot of pride and, you know, loves to prove its worth against strong opponents, and it was even like that as Gikoga, like as it evolved into Gikoga and then Gekugashua. It still had a lot of pride in itself and wanted to prove its worth against other Pokemon. It wanted to earn other Pokemon's respect in a way. He battled Sylveon and lost. He trained even harder. They were in the forest one time, Ash and Froakie training even more, and then he met Sonpei. Well, they say he was a ninja, though ninjas don't really kind of exist. But let's just say he studied the art of ninjutsu. Sonpei had a Frogadier who he raised from a Froakie. He was on a mission to become the strongest trainer in Ninja Village. So he had this Frogadier who he raised in speed. He probably Eevee trained it to have really good speed, and it looked like he had good attack as well. He was saying his Froakie wasn't strong enough, and then Ash was like, yeah, he is, why don't we have a battle? So they did. Froakie was completely outmatched. He was overpowered by Frogadier. He wasn't able to keep up with Frogadier's speed since it was the evolved form, and when Froakie evolves into Frogadier, it gains quite a significant boost in speed. Overwhelmingly powerful and fast quick attack. Clement said he'd never seen one like that before. Both of them trained together because Ash wanted Sonpei to teach him how to use a quick attack like that. So they did some training, they increased Froakie's leg strength, they increased Froakie's speed by making him run in water, making him jump from tree branch to tree branch. And then time came for him to learn how to use the quick attack. He was failing quite a lot, Like, the quick attack he was producing wasn't powerful enough. Just as Frogadier was about to show him, like, fucking Team Rocket appeared again, and I'm sighing because I'm sick of them appearing on every single episode. Just get rid of them. Don't have to be there anymore. They don't really make episodes fun. You know, they've been in anime for about 23 years. He tried using quick attack again for the last time, and then he got stopped by a projectile that Meowth's machine. Yeah, Frogadier used quick attack, did some damage, and then he got caught in a net, and then Froakie stepped in, tried using quick attack again, but quick attack changed into double team, and then he used water pulse, and then to free Pikachu, who was also captured, and Frogadier. Both Frogadier and Froakie combined the water pulses together, used the water pulses to destroy Team Rocket's machine, and then that was the end of that. Yeah, ever since then, Frogadier and Froakie had massive respect for each other. They were going to see that they saw each other again, but before we get onto that, let's move on to other things. Froakie had the battle with Grant, the gym leader. He defeated an Onyx of Water Pulse. There was a deleted episode. Yeah, it was deleted because it was something to do with, it was Froakie learning how to jump really high. Yeah, it was deleted because it was about a submarine or whatever. There was a tsunami in Japan during the time that it was about to be aired. I thought it would be a bit inappropriate or whatever for it to be aired whilst a tsunami and a disaster happened where people died, I think. He used what they called the Karamatsu rock climb, or what Ash called the Karamatsu rock climb. It was a strategy to counter Onyx's rock tomb that they saw in a battle shatter, because Grant and Viola battle. Surskit lost against Onyx's Grant. So he won against Onyx, and then he tried his best with Tyrant, who was Grant's second Pokemon. He Draco Meteor, when he used Double Team. Draco Meteor, it took out all of Froakie's copies of his Double Team, eliminated him from the match. He probably was a bit frustrated that he wasn't able to Tyrant, but he always learns from his failures. Froakie improves on them for future battles. So after he lost against Grant's Tyrant, he went on, trained even more. He met Hawlucha in an episode. He saw Hawlucha. Well, Ashel met Hawlucha, who lived in a forest, like a nature reserve, where this guy was the caretaker of it. Hawlucha had a lot of pride as well, a bit like Froakie, but more so. He battled a Pancham, he battled a Machamp, tried to train. Well, Hawlucha tried to train to learn how to do Flying Press the right way, because he always took his time with Flying Press as a way to show his pride. And Ash came up with a strategy where he can show off his pride or whatever and have that sort of stage appearance, but do it fast enough where people can't avoid the attacking time. So he told Hawlucha to do a spin, and he was able to defeat Machamp. Ash decided Hawlucha was the perfect Pokemon for him to capture, so he chose Froakie. Well, Hawlucha wanted to battle Ash before he wanted to be his partner. Ash chose Froakie for a battle because I think it's because he wanted to train him even more. Froakie loves tough opponents, so they both did really well. The match ended up in a draw where Flying Press and Pound collided with each other, and they both got knocked out. So after that, Ash decided to catch Hawlucha, and the two of them became friends. Froakie learned a lot from that battle, and so did Hawlucha. After that, it was an episode where he learned Cut from trying to save Pikachu, because Froakie loves saving people and helping people out. A bit like Ash. Ash puts himself for all his Pokemon and other people who are in need, and so does Froakie in a way, so that's why they click, because they've kind of had the same personality. They're both pretty stubborn as well, Ash and Froakie. When he was training, I think there was a falling log, and he used Cut to slash it, get it out of the way in time. He even used Cut in future battles when he was in the Kalos League. But anyway, he met Sonpei again. Like, Sonpei and Pikachu were training. As they were training, they saw Sonpei and his Greninja, or Gikoga. I'm gonna call Gikoga and Frogadier Karamatsu. Froakie Karamatsu, Frogadier Gekugashua, and Greninja Gikoga. Saw Sonpei and his Gikoga. They were injured after a battle, and they didn't know why, and then suddenly another Sonpei, who was his tutor, appeared. He didn't know that at the time, because he was trying to test him with his Barbaracle. He tried using Razor Shell. He used Razor Shell on Froakie. Froakie was completely overpowered by Barbaracle to retreat for the time being until he formulated some sort of plan. Sonpei explained what happened. Barbaracle and his Gikoga were in a sort of match with each other. Gikoga used Smoke Screen. Sonpei's tutor blew it away. Gikoga used Quick Attack. It was countered by Razor Shell, and then when Gikoga was close to Barbaracle, he catched it and attacked Gikoga with Poison Jab, and then finished it off with Razor Shell. Shell. Sonpei tried to save his Gikoga. That resulted in both of them falling in the river. He was supposed to bring this document that had nothing on it, or he didn't know that at the time either. Before sunset, he saw his tutor again. His tutor requested another battle, and this time Gikoga had help with Froakie. So yeah, the both of them were out. They were using Water Shuriken, Water Pulse. It didn't work. Got Pikachu involved as well. He used Iron Tail. Barbarical used Mud Slap as well. All of them, including Froakie, and Froakie was thrown off right in the rock. Just as Barbarical was about to finish them off with Poison Jab, Froakie stepped in. It evolved into Frogadier, and it saved both Pikachu and Gikoga. Frogadier was Gekugashua was even with Barbarical in terms of power. Like, he was putting up an equal fight, as Sonpei said in the English dub, and he said something similar in the English sub as well. Frogadier learned Aerial Ace, which it used against Barbarical, doing a lot of damage. Tutor said, okay, you've proven your worth now, so it's time to leave and meet me in the manor. Ash suspected it was a trap. They went anyway. No, it turns out it wasn't a trap. They found out who the man who was masked was. He showed the document. Sonpei realised that the document was blank. After that was done, Sonpei and Sadoshi both had a battle with each other, and the battle still remains a mystery to this day. I think Sonpei's Gikoga would have won against Gekugashua. The thing about Gekugashua, we've never really seen him be defeated. It's only Froakie and Koga that we've seen lose. But I think Gekugashua has lost quite a few times. I think it lost to Gikoga, because Gikoga's the evolved form of Gekugashua, and Sonpei's Gikoga's more experienced than Gekugashua as well. After that, we saw Frogadier again in Coumarine City. There was a 3-on-3 battle where Ramos used the same Pokemon he used in the game. So he used a Jumpluff, he used a Weeping Bell, he used a Go-Go. In the games, the gym battles are really easy, and everything's easy in the game, but in the anime, not so much. The anime and games are different in that respect. Ramos used... I'll tell you briefly what happened. So Ramos used Jumpluff against Fletchling. It lost within to Fletchling quite quickly because of the Flame Charge type advantage. Ramos summoned his second Pokemon, Weeping Bell, who had the Chlorophyll ability, so he was quite fast. It took out Fletchling and Hawlucha because it had a Poison Gas, which poisoned all of Ash's Pokemon, slowing them all down. We had one Pokemon left. He decided to use Frogadier. Despite the tyre disadvantage, he was able to hold its own against Weeping Bell because it used its Frubbles to block the Poison Gas. That's why Ash chose it. It also used Double Team as well, which didn't work at first, but then Frogadier used Aerial Ace, defeating Weeping Bell because it was a super effective move. Then it was up against Go-Go as well. That was a really good battle. They were quite even in terms of power. Water Pulse was evenly matched by Vine Whip. Tried using Aerial Ace again, but Aerial Ace wasn't good enough against Razor Leaf. Go-Go also used Horn Leech and Leech Seed, and it looked like it was over, but Ash was determined for his Gekugashua not to lose, and so was Gekugashua. Like they were determined to win. Gekugashua could sense Sadoshi's spirit. He used another Razor Leaf. This time, Ash approached the matter more calmly and told Gekugashua to sense Go-Go's presence and then wait for the right moment to strike, and it did. It used Leech Seed, and in that battle, Gekugashua's double team was getting better and better and better. It resulted in him making enough copies to avoid Go-Go's Leech Seed and then finish it off with Water Pulse. Quite impressive to finish off a Pokemon with a move that's not very effective. Won the battle with Frogadier. That was the end of that. He had his rivalry with Grovyle, which was Shota's Pokemon. He's called Sawyer for some reason in the English dub, I don't know why. Frogadier had a rivalry with... It wasn't Grovyle at first. Shota was from Ho. He went to the Kalos region to do the Pokemon League there. Trico was outmatched by Gekugashua. Gekugashua was way more experienced in battles at a higher level. The first match they had, Gekugashua defeated Trico with cuts. When the second match that they had, Karamatsu had an advantage. It nearly beat Trico when it evolved into Grovyle, and the two of them were evenly matched. Leaf Blade got countered with cuts. Sawyer made Grovyle use Leaf Blade to counter Double Team. Eventually, Gekugashua used Water Pulse to counter Bullet Seed. It caused a big explosion of smoke. Grovyle thought he saw a shadow of Karamatsu. It turned out to be a decoy that Frogadier made out of its Frubbles. When cut through the Frubbles and then saw Gekugashua up in the air and the match was over, it was already decided. So Sadoshi commanded Gekugashua to use Water Pulse one more time, and that resulted in Gekugashua winning, and the two of them became rivals ever since. Moving on from there was Olympia predicting Frogadier's future. In Anister City, Ash went there for his 7th gym battle and saw Olympia, met her in the town, but at the beginning of the episode she predicted some sort of future, and she had her disciples, I'm going to call them. One of them misinterpreted Olympia's vision, thought that Sadoshi and everyone else were evildoers. She had a battle with Sigilif and a few other Pokemon of hers. Sableye Sableye, Sigilyph and Sableye, she had a battle with Ash, and they both lost to Pikachu and Gekugashua. And then Olympia saw a vision of Gekugashua future. Sadoshi and Gekugashua to come to the gym where she showed Gekugashua of his. She showed everyone Gekugashua past as a Froakie, or Karamatsu, and predicted that Gekugashua was going to grow in terms of power, be exponentially stronger, reach heights that no one's ever seen before. She was of course referring to Sadoshi Gekoga, like the special transformation that happened in the XYZ series when Gekoga took a different appearance, looked more like Ash. In other words, it was called the Bomb Phenomenon. After that, Olympia and had a battle with Sadoshi. That was a double battle with two Meowsticks, and although against Talonflame and Gekugashua, although Sadoshi had a lot of difficulty with Future Sight, the Meowstick's abilities, Keen Eye and Prankster, prioritizing protection moves, Prankster and Keen Eye, so it's really hard for your opponents to avoid the attack. Fun fact, Keen Eye and Prankster are hidden abilities, I believe, Meowstic, so it's good that they're incorporating hidden abilities in Pokemon. He ended up winning. Frogadier was struck by a Thunder Wave. They countered the Future Sight and made it so that the hard to evade attacks hit the Meowsticks instead of them. Frogadier beat the female Meowstick with Water Pulse by overpowering the Psycho Shot, so that was the end of that. Frogadier evolved into Greninja when they saw Sonpei for the third and last time. He was going back to his home of Ninja Village. Sonpei battled Venusaur, who belonged to his older brother, Nihei, and Sonpei unfortunately lost. Still had a lot of training. His brothers were still more powerful and experienced than he was. He decided he was going to train with his brothers from now on, so he did that. And then there was a load of other, use the word ninja loosely, ninjas who came to the village, tried to kidnap the chief of the village. They succeeded. I can't remember the leader's name. He had a follower who owned a Bishop, and he was quite powerful. He overpowered both Pikachu, Gekugashua and Gekoga, and then Saizo stepped in, Sonpei's tutor, defeating the Bishop, and he had to withdraw it and then live to fight for another day pretty much. They formulated a plan to take the chief, so they did. They went to where he was kidnapped. One of the followers of the village saw where he was, reported it back straight away. There was a battle with Impei, Sonpei's oldest brother, and against the kidnapper leader, so it was Gekoga versus Weavile, and there was a battle with Bishop, Gekoga, Gekugashua and Pikachu for the second time. Although they didn't do that well at the start, they weren't able to land a hit on Bishop. He did some damage to them with Snarl and then nearly wanted to finish the match with Shadow Claw, but Frogadier stepped in like he did last time to save Pikachu, Gekoga, and he evolved right there into Gekoga. When he evolved into Gekoga, he overpowered Bishop, he hit him with Water Shuriken, and then Bishop used X-Scissor, and then Gekoga transformed for the first time, overpowering the Bishop and winning the match. So that was the end of that. We saw Gekoga a few times, transform a few times, and then Clement was trying to understand, using his technology, how the transformation occurred by using science. They weren't really able to at first, but Gekoga saw along and battled. His Charizard battled Gekoga for the first time, after Alon seeing the transformation when Gekoga was up against Sceptile, saw his newly evolved Grovyle, and he won. Then he was trying to commit Mega Evolution. He mistook Gekoga's transformation for Mega Evolution, although it wasn't quite like that, and the two of them had a battle. Charizard easily won, without a doubt. Gekoga didn't really do anything. Gekoga wasn't as experienced as Charizard, so it's, no wonder why he lost, right? Because Charizard defeated an Elite Four member, Molver, and a load of other Mega evolved Pokemon, so it's no question really. After that, Gekoga trained even harder, battled along for a second time, did much better in that battle than the previous battle, but it wasn't able to tap into his true power. They had to stop right away because the synchronization was taking a massive toll on Ash, so he trained even harder after that, and then it unlocked its power for the first time. It was true power, by battling the champion Diantha, and Diantha used Shadow Ball, Moonblast. Gekoga was finding a hard time to keep up with it, but they found a way using Water Shuriken and confusing Gardevoir to land a hit with Cut. Then when they did, Gekoga transformed. It overpowered Gardevoir, caught up with its speed, nearly knocked it out, and Diantha had no choice but to Mega Evolve it. And she was holding back quite a lot because the whole purpose of that battle wasn't to win, it was to see Gekoga's power, because she went to Olympia before. Olympia showed the prediction that she saw and how it tied with Sadoshi and all his friends. So he battled. Greninja transformed into its true form and used its water shuriken from its back against Gardevoir. Threw it right at it. That water shuriken overpowered Shadow Ball. Gikoga was about to use Cut to do even more damage, possibly finish Gardevoir off, but they had to stop because the synchronization again was far too much. Team Rocket came, for fuck's sake, interrupted the match, but Gardevoir quickly got rid of them. It was exhausted after their battle with Sadoshi, and Team Rocket as well, even though it was quite quick. It's mainly Sadoshi's battle, the Gikoga, that caused Gardevoir to lose its stamina. It fought Sceptile again, but it wasn't able to tap into its true powers, so it lost. Sawyer kind of took advantage of them being, of Ash being sort of stunned or whatever, or hesitant, because he didn't know why the transformation was working, they weren't in sync. So he battled Wulfric, the final gym leader. Did quite well. Halucha beat. It was a 3-on-3 battle, even though Wulfric only used 2 Pokemon, it used its Abomasnow, and the Snow Warning ability was causing a lot of issues for Ash, and lost to Halucha. And then Wulfric sent out his Avalugg to defeat Halucha, Talonflame, and then Gikoga, but the match with Gikoga was more like Gikoga put up a better fight than the other two. It transformed and it did some good damage, but because of Hail and Heal Body, it was recovering a lot of its stamina. And yeah, it used 2 Avalanches that did double the damage, thanks to Avalanche's second effect, where it does double the damage when an opponent has been hit first. It beat Gikoga with Gyro Ball after freezing its Cut with Ice Fan, and that was the end of that. So moving on, it trained a bit more. Gikoga was frustrated with losing to Avalugg and Sceptile. The two of them were more closer connected, like Sadoshi and Gikoga. They tried to save a Speeper, and Gikoga transformed into its true form. It wanted to start over when it threw its ball at Sadoshi, as it did when it was a Froakie when they first met. So it's to signify that they've started over and they're new people in a sense, or new Pokemon, new person. Moving on, we went up against Abomasnow again and countered. Yeah, it did really well against Abomasnow, even when Gikoga was in its true form. It overpowered it, and then when Gikoga transformed, it overpowered Abomasnow even more, and then Wulfric Mega Evolved Abomasnow. Gikoga was outmatched in terms of power. Wulfric's Abomasnow was a lot stronger. It overpowered Gikoga with Wood Hammer. When Gikoga used Double Team and Aerial Ace, it countered all of Gikoga's Water Shurikens with Ice Punch, and then it overpowered Gikoga again with Ice Punch when Gikoga used Cut, and it caused his Blaze from his Cut to froze, and he used those frozen icicles to skid on the battlefield, and used Water Shuriken one more time with an Aerial Ace, resulting in him winning the match. So that was it. It faced off against Sceptile in the Kalos League, like they were fully trained now, they were fully prepared, they were ready. Gikoga mastered its true form, its true power. It defeated an Altaria in the first match with a Water Shuriken. We only saw Gikoga in 3 matches. It was a shame how the Kalos League was rushed for the Team Flare arc. I didn't really care about the Team Flare arc that much. I would have much rather seen a full league where you saw all the battles, every single one of them. But yeah, it wasn't really the writer's intention for him to win. That's what we're on about in this episode. We're on about why he lost on purpose. So he was up against Sceptile. They were even in terms of power and speed. They transformed into their true form. Sceptile Mega Evolved, Gikoga turned into Sadoshi Gikoga, and it looked like Sceptile was running against Frenzy Pant. It was really hard. Like, Frenzy Pant's the most powerful grass type move, and it was backing Gikoga into a corner, but Gikoga countered it with Cut, and then he won the match by using Double Team and Water Shuriken, which overpowered Sceptile's Leaf Storm, and that resulted in winning the match. So, and then he was up against Alon. So this is what I really want to go into. So he was up against Charizard for the 3rd time. Both of them have known what the others like. Like Charizard and Gikoga know their strategies, know their power, they respect one another. Ash and Alon had a full battle, all down to the last Pokemon. Like, it was really, really close to final. Charizard unfortunately won against Gikoga. Here's what I'm going to get into in this video. Why? Why did he lose? I'm not just going to say because the writers made that way, because that made for a shit episode. What we're going to go into is reasons why. Like, dive into it a bit, look at what went wrong there. It only took Gikoga 3 hits for it to be defeated. In other battles, it's taken more hits than that to be taken down. Although Blast Burn was a strong move, and Gikoga doesn't have great defenses, neither does Charizard in a way, if you're looking at the stats in the game, but they don't base it off the game as much. So what happened was the two of them used their most powerful moves. Like Gikoga enhanced its Water Shuriken and overpowered Alon's Thunder Punch with its first Water Shuriken. Like, he used it as a sword. The two of them were clashing at each other. Gikoga managed to get a hit on Charizard, and then it used a yellow Water Shuriken, which is what we saw in the anime. So why didn't it use Double Team as well? Why didn't Ash want it to combine Double Team with Water Shuriken and allow its Water Shuriken to grow even bigger in size? Like, way bigger. Could have gone 10 times bigger. It could have been strong enough to take Charizard out and overpower its Blast Burn. But in a way, the Water Shuriken that it produced drawed with its Blast Burn. Both got hit by their attack at once, which caused two explosions from both sides of the coin in a way. I believe that Gikoga was more than capable of winning the match. Could have easily done it if he used Double Team as well, but why? I believe that his intention wasn't to win. Like, maybe he wanted to conserve his energy for Team Flare, because he was the one who helped the most Gikoga with Team Flare, guided everyone with his Water Shuriken that he threw, Harimanu, who was being held captive, and Gikoga was also the one that he needed to destroy all the roots that were still there, even after Team Flare was gone, or the leader was anyway, and he just defeated Zygarde. I think that Gikoga maybe lost on purpose, or at least didn't drill out its power on purpose, because he was just using the battle to train for the future. Like, winning the Kalos League wasn't as important to him, even though he was disappointing when he did lose. Although Ash still was grateful for everything that he did. He came second place for the first time ever in any other league. That's the best he's done in any other league apart from the Alola League, but before all the other leagues. So, like, Gikoga's main goal was to save people and protect Kalos, not to win in the competition. So I believe that Gikoga knew that he was strong enough or powerful enough to defeat Alon and his Charizard and win the match, but he was holding back in a way. It wasn't his best performance that match. He did a lot better with Sceptile. I think in that battle, Ash was able to draw out more of Gikoga's power than he was in the final up against Charizard. And though Charizard was stronger than Sceptile, Charizard did have a lot of experience of other Mega Evolved Pokemon. It did put up a good fight against Seagull and won against the Elite Four Malva. I think he was holding back for a reason, and maybe he didn't want to enter the Champions League in a way. Like, he thought his time could be spent on saving all of Kalos and protecting as many people as he could, like using his true power there. Maybe there's a limit how much power Gikoga in its true form can draw out. There seems to be a limit anyway, and it's the bond phenomenon. The stronger the bond of Sadoshi and Gikoga, the more powerful Gikoga becomes. Like, the more Sadoshi's able to draw out of Gikoga, the more determined Sadoshi becomes, the more determined skilled Gikoga becomes as well. And I think a lot of it's to do with Sadoshi was kind of his fault for not taking it as seriously or being maybe too arrogant. Like in Star Wars, how the Sith become arrogant when in their mind they already know that they've won the battle when they haven't. So I think it was the same in this match. Like, he wasn't able to. He thought he could easily win against Alon. That's what caused him to be complacent, and he wasn't in the right mindset because he was too arrogant to draw Gikoga's true potential. So that's my theory anyway. It's quite a short theory. This video's been on for nearly an hour now, so I'm going to have to edit it down. If you liked it, please like, comment and subscribe for more future content, and I'll see you later guys. Goodbye.